doesn't end well unless it ends. Can't just report the fucking obvious.
I don't care what a critic got to say, I got them picking up the pieces. That me, you really playing with your life, I'm about to come and
just a motherfucking jump. Just go. I was going to send you this. I messed up. It's all good. And welcome, people. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy and the other fucking guy. And you can tell we're kind of changing things up a little bit, how we have the desk positioned. Next step is going to be getting some more stuff on the wall and shifting some stuff on the wall here. So, you know, we are a work in progress. And we just keep doing shit. Doing shit, changing, and trying to figure out what the fuck works doing this, really. But pleasure to be here today with my dude alongside of me, Leo. How are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. It's a pretty good Wednesday today. Got a lot of stuff done over the weekend, so it's
you did.
It's good, man.
You did. It is good. You've been you've been motivated.
Yeah,
here lately,
a little bit, a little extra motivation.
There's something going. I'm like, all right, I like seeing that. That's some really good stuff. And somebody else in my life who's been extremely motivated has been Dawn.
That's an understatement.
And I really, really need to. We need to do an interview with her. We'll do one at least after her contest on November 15th, and maybe we'll do one before that too, because the work she's done has been absolutely phenomenal. Just phenomenal, you know? And I have some things to say about that. I don't have, I never got one of those online certificates. I never became certified by the 4 or however many there are. I think there's at least 4 different organizations that certifies trainers.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I never did that. And I'm better than 99.9% of them that do. I'm just good at what I do. And I have the proof. I've shown proof that I'm good at what I do based on my own experience, my own body, that of hundreds and actually over 4,000 clients over the years now. But the best work I've ever done, the best by far, I think, and that had the most involvement in, is with Dawn now, and she's going to compete at the Whitney Jones Classic in Mesa. It's an NPC show. She's going to be in the figure category, and the figure category is basically, think of it like this. You have your bikini, and I think bikini is better for tall, thin women.
Okay.
With enhancements.
Yeah.
And they're smoother. They have muscle, and you can see the muscle, but they're smoother.
It's more of a model kind of look.
Yes.
Less of a bodybuilder look.
Yes, where Dawn's category is definition for sure. You want that hard, grainy look, but you don't want it to be too big, and I don't think she is. You know, the girls that start showing definition, you always get these like dumbass people on Facebook or other social media platforms, you know, oh, she looks like a dude. Dude, she has muscle. I can guarantee you she does. If you meet her face, she does not look like a dude. I'm all good. That's just how the internet tries to trash people. And it's amazing. Not everybody, you know, I've shared this before, not everybody wants to see you win.
No. No.
And some people who are super nice to you that you think you have a connection with will oftentimes like to slip in some little digs. And there is one of those people at the gym, a younger woman, who also has a good physique. Don't get me wrong. She has a good physique. She could use an enhancement on the top to be more balanced, but as far as muscle and body, you know, she's very solid. And she recently competed and didn't do very well.
Okay.
And then like flew to another competition and the flight fucked her up and she didn't do well, I guess. And Dawn talks every time we're in there. There's not a time that they don't talk.
Okay.
But Dawn hasn't appreciated some of the things, and she shared with me. Like the person will say, ask her, they'll be talking about things, and she'll say, "Oh yeah, I wish I had Anavar." Well, bitch, you can have Anavar if you want. Ain't nobody stopping you but you.
That in fact, I can help you out if you
Yeah,
want.
exactly. Dawn is not doing a natural show where they test people to see if they're on anything. And a lot of times people will build a physique and use and then still enter these shows. I've seen it myself where they've put enough space and time in between their use and the competition that their blood work is going to come up clean.
Okay.
But they're not clean. It's not a thing. And I don't like people lying or people saying that there's something that they're not. And so I've told Dawn, I've given her some things that she could say. And one of the things that she could say is this girl walks around. She has it on her car. She has it on her Instagram. And she has it on her bag that she is an IFBB pro.
Okay.
She's not. And I haven't called her out directly to her face yet, but I'm about to. Because the girl needs checked a little bit. And I think that's the biggest kind of fraud in the world. Like, I don't tell people I'm a doctor. I don't tell people, if somebody asks, do you have a training license? No. I'm an unlicensed pharmacist. I tell people the truth. That's one of the things I do. And I'm very, very good at it. And you can either learn about me and who I am or not. It doesn't matter to me. I have enough people that do that I live very, very well, and that continues to grow and get better every day. Again, because I am good at what I do, and it speaks for itself. When I was a financial advisor, I didn't have a CFP, which is Certified Financial Planner. I didn't have that designation. And I made more than almost all of them. I was in that top 3 to 5%. I didn't have a college degree, and I was still made more money than them. I hired people with college degrees, which I liked. Now, I had the other licenses that you have to have, securities licenses and such. But, I didn't, most of the time, people would never even ask me if I had a college degree. They just assumed that I did.
They went off the work, not necessarily the title.
Yeah. And like we actually did more financial plans than people who claim to be certified financial planners because we pretty much required that to work with us. That was our basis for making the recommendations. So we would do this plan for every individual. And I'm not just talking about a couple projections or showing you what this mutual fund did in the past. No, I'm talking straight, unbiased work that's unrelated to that. And then you fill in the products later to what the solutions are. But I'm just saying, like, this is my realm. This is what I do. But I'm about to check that chick and just call her out and say, I'm really curious. Why do you claim to be an IFBB pro when you're not? And phrase it just like that.
Mm-hmm.
And make her lie. Oh, I am. No, bitch, you're not. Because an IFBB pro would not enter a natural contest. An IFBB pro, once they are a pro, they are not going to enter just a basic NPC contest anymore. They want to enter pro contest, which is the whole point of getting their pro card and where you can actually get paid. Now, there are some pro natural organizations that I don't even really count. But she didn't say she was a pro in whatever natural bodybuilding federation it was.
Okay.
She didn't say that. She specifically says IFBB. And the NPC leads into the IFBB. So here's how it works. First of all, you have to enter a basic show. It's not going to be a national qualifier. It's just going to be an NPC show. And the NPC also does natural contests too, but follow along. So once you place and win your category in there, and sometimes it's more than one place, then you can qualify for a national qualifier. You can go up a step up in the types of shows you compete in.
Okay.
And then and you're allowed to do that for 2 years once you won at the entry level, right? So now you go up to a national qualifier, and you can do any national qualifier in the country for up to 2 years. And if you don't get in that time, you would have to qualify again.
Okay.
Now, once you get to the national qualifier, that's where you have the ability to earn your card. And if you earn your pro card, then you can go compete in the pro events around the country and potentially get paid. It's not a lot of money, but look, truth is, I've spent a lot of money on what Dawn is doing, and she's not going to win anything but a medal or a sword or a trophy or whatever they decide to hand out that they think is cool, right? Mm-hmm. That's it. And hopefully, even in her first contest, we are kind of hopeful that she does well enough to win and then be able to go on and compete in a national qualifier. And when I get to it in a little bit, there's reason for me to be optimistic. I'm not being biased because it's my girlfriend. Mm-hmm. Not at all. I wouldn't want to set her expectations up to be so high and then it not happen. But anything can happen in bodybuilding. Anything, because it's so fucking subjective. But she is doing absolutely everything someone can do, whether they're a first timer or someone that's doing their 5th show or 10th, doesn't matter. She's doing everything you should do to check off all those boxes so that on the day that you compete, that you can say you did all you could to be the best you could that day, that you've done it. You didn't skimp. You didn't say, man, I wish I'd have spent a little more time on posing. Man, I wish I would have, not had this, or I would have focused on this a little more. No, I'm talking about literally checking off every box, and she's been doing that. But my point about the chick is, I think she holds herself out to get, I don't know if she does online training. She is a trainer at the one gym, and I've let the gym know. There are people that work at the gym that think she's an IFBB pro. And I'm like, she's not an IFBB pro. And personally, I think it makes the gym look bad to have somebody on their staff in any capacity, even if it's just teaching a class or whatever, that's lying about who they are and what they do. She doesn't have to. Just say what you do. You have a good physique. You're good at these classes, but don't add that extra in, that little touch, because you don't need it. I don't think. And I think it's just terrible to lie.
I do want to give you a heads up that I will start now putting up the chat up there.
Okay.
So you can now read it. Eddie did send you a message there.
Thanks, Eddie. Yeah, dude. She is looking insane, and I'm going to get to that in a minute, and I appreciate the comment, and she does too. People want to know, am I good at what I do? Well, I don't have a better example than what she is. And, I'll just tell you what Dawn does. I'm going to tell you what Dawn does. We're transparent. We don't hide it. We like and use pharmaceuticals. We use peptides. I use testosterone. We both use HGH, human growth hormone, like the real shit. And we don't use the peptides that are the growth hormone peptides. I think they have a good place for certain people, but they are so badly being misused right now, I can do a whole show just on that probably. But anyways, so what has Dawn done? Well, Dawn started this journey over a year and a half ago when she moved here to be with me. And she was in good shape. And I wish I would have pulled some pictures up to be able to show people what she looked like. She was in great shape. She is the owner of a powerlifting gym in Missouri, and she was doing a lot of that. She's been a runner in her life. She's done more of the powerlifting type stuff because that's kind of the thing at the gym, and then a little bit of bodybuilding, but not as somebody who was going to compete. Even before I competed, I still considered myself a bodybuilder because that's the style I was going after. That's the kind of workouts I wanted, were bodybuilder type workouts or, nutrition, everything kind of around that. I wanted to be a jacked old dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you go back far enough in like some of her pictures, like even back to when we were in Mexico, dude. Yeah, that's getting to some of them in Mexico. That's around July, end of July. You're going a little far. But yeah, I mean, look, we were still eating desserts then. Now, she did start way early for this. She did. And she was fit there, like really getting fit, getting trimmed up. But it was even more so like, it was even more than that. Like in the one picture of her in the cowboy hat, she's pretty ripped there, down the bottom. Yeah, right there. Yeah, she's in good shape there. But you compare that to her today, dude, you got to add all these veins popped out because she is paper fucking thin right now. And I'm going to get to that. So, but what did we do? We changed her workouts a little bit. She had a bad experience in the past with a bad boyfriend and then didn't get much help from a business partner in putting together a program for her to, use these enhancements well, and then the diet and everything. Well, one of the first things that Dawn did is she was a casual drinker, and she eliminated alcohol. She just on her own said, you know what? It's not that important. We have a good time together. We go out. We enjoy each other. We have fun. We can be stupid, all sober. And I have to do that. She doesn't have to do that. And it wouldn't bother me if it wouldn't affect my sobriety if she did drink. It just wouldn't. But she will tell you that was such a huge change for her in how she felt and in her body and in her physique, how important that really ended up becoming. And she was shocked by how big a difference it was. And so, like, she's very aware of that now when she sees other people or talks to other people or friends and they're trying this or that and they can't lose weight. Well, bitch, all you fucking post is whatever you're drinking that night 4 times a week. Yeah, maybe that's why you're not reaching your goals. That could be a thing. And we do more of a lower carb diet. And before she was competing, we would do desserts. And even the beginning of her prep, she would still do a dessert once a week when we would go out. But we built that into the nutrition program.
Yeah.
And people are just amazed because one of the things that she doesn't do, and I don't do, is we don't count calories. How can you do that? It's pretty damn easy. And how do I know it works? Her. I have the results to prove it. Because I've seen people, and there's a woman at the gym that we go to now, that this woman is working her ass off, honestly, like really putting in the work. And maybe too much work. And she's hit a plateau and is not getting the results. Not getting the results at all. And so she really wants to break through. And I think one of the problems is she's asking too many people their opinion and chiming in.
So she's getting too many different things.
That's
she's
what'll happen.
Implementing too many things
like,
at once.
Look, man, I don't beg people to work with us, but let us figure this shit out for you. We can do it. And she knows Dawn. She likes Dawn. Like, you've seen what we've done. There's no more testimony to whether it works or doesn't. Because we've known people who have counted calories and they think they're in a deficit and they're not. They're like, well, I'm in a 500 calorie deficit. How come I'm not losing weight? Because you're not really in a fucking deficit. Or you would be losing weight. But but nothing. The packages on the back here, people, any package can be off about 20% in either direction. So it might have 20% calories more than what it says on the package, or even 20% less. That's how it works. They have a great big window that these food companies can do that kind of shit. So what you need to do, whether you do it our way or you do it that way, you still have to use our way at the end, which is you need to weigh yourself every single day. I got her weighing herself every single day. And I have a high-end home scale from InBody. InBody's the machine you most likely see at the gyms. Now, that is not as accurate as you people think it is. It's not. And you don't have to have the super accurate one that I have. And mine is not accurate for the home version. What you can get is a Renpho, RENPHO, and you can find that on Amazon for about $20. And you'll download an app, and it doesn't have any handles and stuff. You put in your information, but what it will do is it'll tell you if you're going in the right direction. The weight will be accurate, but the body fat percentage won't be. So don't tell people you're that body fat. Nobody needs to know. But you know you're losing. Yeah, they might have some that, see, the ones with the handles are more because they're measuring the top and bottom. And then some machines have one thing one current that'll go through, some have two. But any of these, you can use the cheapest one and make it work. And then what you do is like what we did with Dawn. Both of her and I went and got Dexa scans. That's the most accurate way. The most. There isn't anything more accurate than getting a Dexa scan. And I highly recommend it because it's also going to be more accurate, not on just your body fat, but your muscle and where it's at and where you might be off on one side versus the other. Dawn is pretty even. I'm slightly off because of my situation I had with my knee. So there's a little bit of a difference there. But I'm working on that imbalance. And it's also going to give you your bone density. And so that's good to know, like, are you going to have any issues in your 70s, 80s, 90s, and just, break a hip and fall? That's what happens. Usually you don't fall and break a hip. What happens is the reverse. Your hip breaks and you fall. And then people end up in nursing homes and then they die, and it all started with a broken hip. But they get something else and their immune system is down, and that's the thing. So ours is very, very good, like way into our 90s. We're super, super healthy in that regard. Now, when Dawn, the morning that we did the very first Dexa scan, Dawn got on the InBody at home, and it said she was at 19% body fat. Now, keep in mind, men and women are different. Women are always going to have a higher number than men. So the equivalent is going to be, I would say, a good at least 5 percentage points, maybe slightly more difference between men and women. Okay. So if you see what a man looks like at 10% body fat, a woman is going to be at 14 or 15. That's how that's going to work. So she was at 19 and in great shape, like really great shape. But now then the Dexa scan was 13%. That's the real number. And so between the two Dexa scans, she went from 19% to like 16 or a little under 16% on the home scale. So it went the right direction, right?
Okay.
So I was figuring that if she was 13, she's going to be between 10 and 11. No. She was at 9.5% yesterday. And we really don't want her to lose anything now at this point. We want to be on cruise control the next 2.5 weeks, 2 weeks. We want to be on cruise.
10% for a woman is Super impressive.
Dude, it's the equivalent from as best as I can get.
Like 6%?
4 to 5%. And whenever they tell you 1 to 2% or somebody, dude, that's so unhealthy and so hard to get. There's a certain amount of fat that we have in our bodies that surrounds organs and vessels and stuff that you just can't get rid of, right? And not only that, we knew the last time that the remaining that she had to go was on her legs and her hips.
Okay.
And guess what just came off of her? Her legs and her hips. Just phenomenal. 9.5%. People who win shows are at 10 to 11. If you're at 13 for a woman in this category, you're probably good enough to step on stage. You may or may not win, but you're right in there.
Yeah.
And it's way leaner than what I was. I wasn't at 4 or 5%, that low of single digits when I competed. So she's way better than what I did my first time around. But I've used that experience to help her with hers.
So quick question.
Too. Yes.
So when you refer to the fat around the body that protects organs and stuff like that, is it possible to lose that fat?
No.
Is just the body would not lose it at all?
That's not going to happen.
So is that where genetics comes into the play? So like if you just naturally have more fat around those areas protecting it, is that like a thing or is that not a thing?
I think it's just a small amount.
Okay.
Which is going to be around 2%, maybe 3%, and there's just no going lower than that. And if you do, man, you're putting yourself in not a good situation. That's just not a good situation. It isn't. And so she's phenomenal. And here's what else. And I have the Dexas here for both of us. The other cool thing was she went from 13% to 9.5%. So she lost 3.5% of body fat. Do you know how much muscle she lost in the last 2 months?
None.
0.0.
Oh, 0.0?
Yeah, it's
so
like not even. Dude, she didn't even lose a tenth of muscle from her last DEXA scan.
Wow.
So for you to be able to not lose any muscle,
fat.
and lose 3.5% fat, man, that is the gold standard, man. That is the best that you can possibly do. It's the hardest thing you can do to be able to do that, to not even lose a tiny, tiny bit. And how did we make that happen? Well, again, like I said, from the time she got here, we put her on 2 IUs of HGH a day. That is a dose that I like for women. It's an effective dose. Most doctors and wellness doctors are probably going to give women a half an IU to 1 IU. They're going to low dose them. And side effects with HGH are super rare. Super rare. So that was something that she's done steady since the very beginning. Then we have used Anavar a couple times over the time period. We did use it when she came here, and then she was off of it for a while. But to get ready for the contest, prep, and to maintain muscle, women can really build muscle with Anavar. Men, not so much. We use Anavar for other things, and Winstrol's the same way. And so we went back and forth from the Anavar and the Winstrol, and especially during this contest period time. Besides that, she does NAD+, which there's some new study out on NAD+ that we'll talk about. That's really kind of cool. She's taken AOD before, 9604. It's a fat-burning peptide. She's taken that. She was off of it, and we just recently had her back on in the last week and a half, and we'll continue that to the show date. A little bit of Clen here recently, clenbuterol. Again, another fat burner that burns fat without losing any muscle. But she did not use any GLP-1s. She has not used semaglutide. She has not used retatrutide, tirzepatide. Any of those she's not used. She did really focus on her diet. She had been doing about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight and we up that to about 1.10, 1.25 grams we did during the prep period, because it's very, very hard to overeat. Whether you're doing it, the stuff I'm telling you is true to be able to do. Now, I wouldn't recommend somebody who has a lot of weight to start using Clen, that kind of thing. But the other things that we do are things that people can use to look good naked, to get fit, and it doesn't matter if you're competing or not, because that's not going to be most people's goals. It's not most of my clients' goals anyways. It's a small fraction of them. But the principles are still the same. That's what matters the most. And it's very hard to overeat when you're getting enough protein. Super hard. And then as long as you're not doing junk and you're eating whatever vegetables you like, eat as much as you want. Eat as much fucking broccoli as you want. You can't you're not going to overeat broccoli. It's not going to happen. I don't like broccoli. I like green beans. And when I eat green beans, I eat quite a bit of green beans. But that's not the priority on my plate. The priority on my plate is the protein. And we track our protein. And then we fill in with the carbs that we need. Now, I don't need carbs like Dawn does. She needs them. And there's not just one right way. Everyone is different. You got people in the carnivore camp, and I've done carnivore, yeah, you do not need carbs. That is a thing. But some people actually do better with carbs. That is also true. More than one thing can be true. And I've done several, over the years, I've done all different kinds of diets and made a number of different diets work. And some of them I felt better than I felt on others. And the only way you know that is if you try doing that. That's the only way you're going to know. Or maybe you do know that, you need a little more carbs. And so what we've done is we've worked the carbs in around her workouts now. Instead of working out in the morning, we typically work out a little later so that she can have those carbs in her system and have some energy to do her workout. Yeah, that's exactly true, Eddie, for you. That's a good point. Yeah, pre and post workout. Some people need that. Dawn's more like that. I'm not. So that's why I'm saying there's this whole nutrition thing where you have these little camps and little tribes, and they all try to claim that they're number one. Different things work for different people. And it's about working with someone to find out what works for them and actually giving a shit about the person you're working with, which is what we do, which is why we're good, which is why our clients have success and other people are not having success. Oh, I did this and I couldn't do this and I had this, whatever the reaction was on a GLP-1, they had some kind of side effect. And usually the side effects are related to the doses. They're related to the doses. So, but the doctor's not helping you with reducing the dose, and instead you get off. And the doctor didn't tell you how to change your eating because he maybe went to one of the 85% of medical schools that don't even require doctors to take a nutrition class. So if the doctor knows anything about nutrition, he knows about it the same fucking way I do. He cared about it. He learned. He learned and found people to trust and people who were good. And then what about working out? Do you know what possibly can a doctor tell you about resistance training if he doesn't work out himself? Nothing. And so for people who just want to lose weight, they need to do 2 days a week, 30 to 40 minutes. And they don't have to quite do as much protein, but more protein is always better. But somebody who's really trying to get fit, they need to be working out 4 or more days a week, and they need to be eating a gram per pound of body weight of protein. It's not complicated. We don't complicate it. People don't want to track every single little thing. It's so hard, but yet we have this woman we know that is, and she's stuck. we count protein and we get on the scale and see where we're going, because you're going to have to do that if you're counting everything. Because I told you it can be off, right? So the only way you're going to know is the mirror and getting on the scale to see which direction you're going. And you don't always want the weight. Sometimes you want the weight to go down. Sometimes if you're, 50, 70, 100 pounds overweight, you want two things to happen, or maybe even more. You want the body fat to go down. You want the weight to go down, but we want to keep the muscle as much as possible and build muscle at the same time. So that might make your overall weight loss look like it's going slower because you're also adding muscle. At the same time, you're losing fat, and that's okay. But you can see those numbers and which direction they're going so that you won't be mad. Like, I'm not really making it. Yes, you are. If you have a week that you don't lose anything, but the body fat percentage goes down or the muscle increase goes up, those are positives, man. Those are winning weeks, man. Winning weeks. So, yeah, I just had another client of mine that's really put in the work over the last year and a half, and he's still working, and he's got a trip coming up, and he's like, oh, what can I do? What can I do? And then I found out he was already doing it. He was already doing it. That the weight he had lost since he set this other goal, I don't know, it was like 20 pounds in 9 weeks or something like that. I'm like, dude, do the fucking math. 2 pounds a week, man, that's perfect. It's really perfect. What's not perfect is people having unreasonable expectations. What's not perfect is people using these GLP-1s wrong, using them in a way that they lose weight so fucking fast, they end up looking like the people who get the stuff done with their stomach. Like getting stapled or, all of that, the bariatric surgery and stuff. Because those people drop weight fast, and then you know what they have? A lot of skin. A lot of skin.
It doesn't look good either.
No, they're not going to feel good.
Yeah, I feel like you're going to feel worse with a bunch of loose skin.
Yeah.
I wonder how, that'd be interesting to ask.
And
people.
That's not cheap surgery.
No.
And the recovery is slow. It's a year recovery, dude.
Out of curiosity, I'm not sure if you've worked with someone, but compared to just being just fat and then being like skinnier, but with all that loose skin and stuff like that, do you think there's like almost the same kind of feel to it, like that disgust? Because like that's a big thing a lot of people lose weight for, right? Is they feel disgusted with their own body, right?
Yeah.
So would it be about the same, give or take? What do you say?
I think so. You're not going to feel good.
Yeah, no, like it's
about it. It's not good. But they're misusing the tool. That's what's happening. And it may not be their fault that they're misusing the tool. They weren't told how to use the tool correctly. There's a right way to use the tool. It's a great tool. But Dawn's not using that tool. She didn't need to. She lifted. Now, she's not taking any testosterone, although she had done that years ago. Very small amounts, because that's pretty much all women need. But it was, and the NAD plus that she takes has nothing to do with it other than it's a great anti-aging peptide. It has other benefits. It's for anyone, not just for somebody who's competing. And, people use these. I know it's crazy. People don't, I've used for 17 years. And for most of that 17 years, I didn't really give a shit about competing. I had different goals at different times. Sometimes I wanted to be jacked. Sometimes I wanted to just be bigger and have weight and muscle. I had different goals at different times. But my goal wasn't to, take those things and step on a stage. And you have people like, oh my God, man, I got the blood work to prove it. And I'm not the only one. It's like some people don't want to believe how many people are using now in the gyms. And the problem is people aren't getting good information anymore. They're getting a lot of information, but not a lot of good information. And they're being told all kinds of shit. And I'm really not happy with what young people are doing. I'm really, really not, because I'm getting some of that on my TikTok now. And, you know, somebody that's 18 years old is just starting to work out and wants to jump on something. Hey, motherfucker, jump on a bench. Jump under a squat rack. Start eating better. Stop, you know, getting drunk on Friday and Saturday. How about that? You know, and show that you can consistently show up in the gym for a year. How about that? Create a little bit of a base, something, before you do this. And because these peptides are legal for research purposes only, you know, you don't know what you're getting from some of these places. But the thing that the kids can do is they know it's better than the over-the-counter shit that they can get at
Walgreens or wherever.
Wherever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any nutrition store. They know it's better than that. But they think it's going to do shit that's not going to do. And I'm like, what are you thinking about doing? And they name these peptides they're doing. And I've seen, I think we did a video, react video, I think, on that one dude that was recommending these crazy
like
ass stacks.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck would you use those two things together? You know, CJC and ipamorelin are put in a blend, but then people are doing tesamorelin or sermorelin on top of it. Why? Pick one. You don't need to do them all. It's just dumb. I don't get it. And then I'm like, sorry, man, I will not take you as a client. I don't want. Oh, and I had one young kid, ask me about DNP. I ended the conversation right then. I ended like, yeah, no, you're stupid. I don't want you as a client, because bad things can happen with that, and then somebody's gonna blame me, and that ain't fucking happening, dude. Not worth the risk. I don't need the money. I'm doing very, very well. I do not need your money. Good luck with that. I hope you get a little smarter. But they always want to tell me the research they're doing. Fuck what research? Get the fuck out of here with your bullshit research. You read a couple things. You watched a
YouTube video.
A reel. No, they didn't even watch a video. They watched a reel, dude.
You're right.
That was it. Now, get the fuck out of here with that, man. Just dumb. What else? Was there anything else I can think of that she's taking? I can't think of anything else. We did start recently taking that creatine, creatine gummies. Array Tone is the name of that company. And we do 4, which is 5 milligrams. And I've started doing 4 in the morning and 4 at night, more for mental shit. I don't know if I'm seeing a difference yet, but I'm trying it. We'll see. I never really cared much about creatine like some people do, because I'm taking real shit that works. So I'm not saying creatine has no value or doesn't work at all, but when you're doing the other things I'm doing, I don't know that you really need to do that. But on the mental basis, I'm throwing everything at the wall. I want to be as sharp mentally as I possibly can be. That's what I want. And so it's one of the reasons why you have bodybuilders years ago that would never say whether or not they used, or athletes wouldn't admit to using. And because when you do that, you have this idiotic group in the public, a pretty good a percentage of people, I don't know what it is, I just know it's not a tiny amount, that thinks that's all you have to do. Well, if you're taking HGH and you're taking Anavar, well, let's just going to give you the results that you get. Man, the results that she got is because she works out almost 7 days a week. 6 days a week is pretty common for us. And sometimes on our off day, we're still there doing miscellaneous shit. And I'm talking about an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half. And you can knock 15 minutes off of that because people are going to talk to us. Okay, that's how it goes. But we're there, putting in the work, and in the work in the diet. I've put the work in. She's put the work in. She's put more work in than I have. I went from 14% last Dexa to 13.5. So I went the right direction.
I mean, once you get under, I think, what is it, 18%? Like, that's pretty much for like a guy, isn't that like
I think
every percentage?
if you get at least under 20,
Mm-hmm.
and then 18 is good. 15, you start to at least maybe see some creases,
Okay.
in the abs and stuff. That's good. I have some of that, so I can usually eyeball and be fairly accurate too.
Just because you have an
better
understanding
than
of it.
better than the in-body scale. I'm better than the in-body scale. But, I saw my drop on the in-body scale too.
Mm.
When it said when Dexa said I was at 14, the in-body said I was at 17. And so again, I used that, and as it dropped down a little bit, I knew I was going in the right direction. Now for me, it's just different. I'm not competing, but I'm trying to get myself to a point to be around 12% or so and be able to maintain it. And then when I decide I'm ready to compete, then I'll go from there. I don't want to go from 18% down like I've done before. I want to go from 12% down to,
And then you don't have to kill
6%.
yourself as much as possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And because we gave her so much time too, we were able to do it like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so she really hasn't had really hunger issues or anything like that people experience. And the other thing, voila, you know what the other thing that we proved with Dawn? Cardio. Dawn has always done 20 minutes of walking on a treadmill, like for years and years and years, way before me. And she would do 10 minutes once she got to the gym. So 20 minutes at home, 10 minutes at the gym.
Oh, okay.
Every morning. We did not up that one bit, not even 1 minute. We didn't raise the treadmill
or anything.
up higher. We didn't make it faster. We didn't change a single thing. And so her body was used to that.
Mm.
So we've not added anything to that. We wanted to keep it for the end, the last 4 to 6, maybe weeks or whatever. If we needed to throw that in there, we could at that point, because we wanted her to get to where she was going to be, maintaining the most amount of muscle and possibly even increasing it. And we've done that. Now I got another really good friend that I love this guy. He's a brother to me. And he has got the genetics that are off the hook. Like his legs are the ginormous bodybuilder legs, like the really sick big ones, like huge, he's under, I don't know how tall he is. We're probably close to the same height. But when he's at 250, dude, imagine me at 250. You know what I'm saying? And I'm 200. Imagine me at 250. That's my friend. And he hired a really good coach, online coach. He hired, I'm just going to use the name because it's true, Dave Palumbo. And apparently he told him to do a lot of cardio right from the beginning. And by the time he did his show, I was bigger than he was. Seriously.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, if he wants to compete again, let me help you. I don't have a big name. I'm not that. I will. I'm still making my name. I'm not done yet. 57, and I'm still grinding. I'm going to get there, okay? Yeah, I don't have that big name yet, and I can do the pharmaceuticals, and I've done that. And I did that to him, but I didn't do the recommendations for those. The other coach did. I just made sure my friend had what he needed, supposedly. But all of that matters. You got to have the diet right. You got to have the training right. You got to have the pharmaceuticals right to get to that level if you're doing that, and not just weight loss, which is different. But again, a lot of those things apply, and it applies in weight loss cases that the people think they need to do cardio, that they need to run to lose weight, and that just is not motherfucking true. It's not. Your body wants to, if you consistently run, your body wants to get rid of the muscle because its muscle is dense and it wants to get rid of that. So it's easier to run. It wants to get rid of it. So that's whole thing. So we didn't do that. People are like, you're not doing any extra cardio? No, we're not doing any cardio. Didn't have to. And again, it was just about being smart as we get closer and closer. Eliminating this. Well, here now we eliminate this. Because she would occasionally, before she started her prep, she would occasionally, where I almost never eat a burger with a bun. It's super, super rare. And I love burgers, and I'll eat burgers all the time. But I don't put dumb shit on my burgers. I don't eat a bun. I don't put mayonnaise or any like sauces that are going to be shitty. I don't put any of that on there. It's either A1 mustard or ketchup. One of those. Onion has a little bit of carb in it. I do like onion, pickle, maybe one slice of tomato sometimes if it comes with it. You know, I don't necessarily add a tomato when I'm at home. Good cheese, real cheese, not the fake cheese. No, Kraft Singles doesn't say cheese. It says Kraft Singles because it's not cheese. Okay? It's not cheese. No, good cheese, aged cheese, things like that. So I would do that, but she ditched the bun. Like, no more bun. She would eat a bun more often than I would. And we just like got rid of it. So just things like that as we went along, just tightening things up, and we progressed to see what works. And for this being her first time and we're having this success, it's off the charts, man. It seriously is off the charts. What she's done is phenomenal. I'm super, super proud of her. She has the discipline. You have to have discipline. And she has that. And she listens. I'll give you another example. So I have a client who has been on semaglutide off and on. And she's done pretty well with me. But she don't live with me. So I don't have that kind of control. And she just wanted another vial of semaglutide. And she says, what do you think, you know, what I should do, what change I should make? You know, should I up the dose? Or, you know, I feel like I've hit a plateau. And then I start asking questions. I ask questions. Other people, you know, some website somewhere, they're not going to ask you those questions. They don't care. They're just going to send it to you, and you're going to send them your money, and you're going to have to hope to try to figure it out yourself. And that's not smart. It's not smart. But I find out through my questions that guess what? She hasn't been consistently doing her shots. Oh, well, how about we start doing that? How about we start being consistent with that and see if you maintain your plateau or break through the plateau? Are you? It's the dumbest shit. Like, do you realize what you just told me?
Like, oh, I'm still sick, but I'm not taking my medicine.
Yeah, I'm stuck. And what do you think I should do when you're not doing what I said to do in the first place? And I'm not joking about, like, I really push the alcohol. I don't tell people not to drink. I just try to present it like, how bad do you want this? You got to figure it out. And if you really are going to drink, you need to figure that out, what else you're giving up that day to work that in there or whatever, or getting enough protein. Well, how do you, are you getting enough protein? Yeah. Are you writing it down? Well, no. Then you're probably not, because your guessing is not good. Your guessing sucks. Can I be honest and just tell you? Because that's what I do. And I do it with my clients too. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'm the guy that's going to tell you the fucking truth. That's me. And I don't care, because you told me what you wanted and you asked for my help to get it done. I'm going to tell you the fucking truth. And if you don't like it, then find somebody else. I don't know. Like, oh, that, man, I came in here hot this morning. I was so worked up coming in here this morning. So one of the things that's been an issue, right, is there, and it's been for a while off and on, and it's true throughout the entire pharmaceutical industry, not just testosterone and performance enhancing drugs, like all kinds of drugs. And the problem started, I think, during COVID, and it's continued. And the problem I'm talking about is the raw ingredients. And that people don't want to realize, oh, it's not from you don't get stuff from China, do you? Well, look, my stuff is made in Luxembourg. The product we use that's made for PPL. But guess what? All the ingredients, all the raw ingredients come from either China or India. So, if the product's coming directly there, maybe they're cheating people and not putting in the proper amounts or doing some other thing. I get that. You don't know unless you test, and we test. We do third-party testing. So anyways, Anavar's been an issue off and on. Winstrol sometimes, but the big two has been Masteron and Primobolan. Those are two that are counterfeited a lot. And they're ones that have been difficult to get legit product for some people. Now, I work with one company, and I believe in that company, and I've tested their stuff, and we've worked with them for a number of years now. I was concerned because of how things were and things becoming in short supply and having some issues of having a backup, getting a backup. And I'm just going to be honest, what I did, I went to Mexico. This is one of the things I was doing in Mexico. Because I used to use Mexican products 17 years ago for a number of years. And it was legit and good product 17 years ago. And so I can tell you that I just had to eat recently, over $20,000. Because I got product. They have some backup that when I tested it, it didn't test right when we tested it by a third party. And it's like a real legit Mexican pharmaceutical company, okay? It wasn't somebody's sink. It was a legit pharmaceutical. They actually have a city down there where a lot of that stuff's made and those companies are. I didn't go there. That's a long-ass drive or flight. I didn't go there. But that's where the pharmacies get it from that are around Mexico. They get it from those companies. Is it Guadalajara? Yeah, Guadalajara. That's where the big pharmaceutical companies are.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So we tested it. It was supposed to be testcipionate, 250 milligrams per ml. Now, it wasn't going to hurt anybody because it did come back as testosterone, but it came back as propionate. It came back as testosterone and nethate and testosterone cipionate. It's all testosterone. What's different is the cipionate and nethate and propionate, they're all different esters, and that just is how long it stays in your body, okay? But it wasn't supposed to have those other two in there. And not only that, it only had 50 milligrams of each. So it didn't even have 250 milligrams of any kind of test in there. It only had 150 total. And there is a difference between short and long. Yeah. Okay. And it wouldn't have hurt anybody if I would have sent that to anybody.
Yeah.
But I don't do business like that, man. We tossed it.
Just straight up tossed it?
Straight up tossed it, man.
Is there no use for something like that? Or at least not for you, at least?
Not really, man. Like, we're still trying to work some things out with that, But no. I'd rather just be out of something now, something because it's what I know and what I can trust. And, we spend to test one thing. It's like $180, and we got to send it to like Yugoslavia to this company that does this testing. And you as an individual can do it too. We'll give you the information. But what I don't like is because of my years in the business and people that have done business with me, what I absolutely hate is when people question my product. So I just had somebody this morning who's been a client for 2.5 years, done nothing but good by him. He wanted me to read some lab work, which I was going to do. And then he said, he asked about the Masteron and Primobolan, like, is this real shit? Like, are you confident your product's legit?
Mhm.
And dude, that kind of shit just pisses me off to ask me that. If you don't trust me, you shouldn't do business with me. It's that simple. I'm not like everybody else. Everybody else isn't reading your fucking lab work. They're just not. I am. There's not a lot of me in this business. There just isn't, man, that does what I do. And if you're going to come at me, you better have some testing results. And if you have legit testing results, I'll test, and then I will make good by anybody. We do not rip people off. That is not something that I'd ever allow to happen. I just wouldn't. So, like, I fired back at him hard this morning. Like, dude, that is not the thing. You can go at wherever, anywhere else. I don't do that. But they think, oh, well, I should ask because other people say. I don't give two fucks about other people. And somebody who's been with me 2.5 years, and then my content is fucking real. Whether you like it or not, it's legit. This is me. It's me on Facebook. It's me on TikTok. It's me on YouTube. If you don't like me here, you will not like me in person. And if you don't like me in person, you're not going to like me there because I don't play those games. I just don't. And I can be a little hard, a little rough around the edges sometimes. And then people say, well, that's not a really good way to do business. Motherfucker, you build a 7-figure business and then maybe, build 8 because I'm working on 8. But build 7 first. And then when you get to 8, maybe I'll ask you what you did to get to 8, see if there's anything I can learn from you. Well, how you treat people. Dude, I treat people fantastic unless they don't treat me well. You get dumb with me, you say dumb shit. Man, I got no time for that fucking shit. I just don't. I don't like it. It fires me up. I get pissed. Like, I don't have time. I don't want to live my life pissed. Life's too short, man. It's too short. And if you don't know I'm real and legit from my content, because guess what? My content doesn't have a picture of a bodybuilder on there or videos of some bodybuilder. That's not me. You can say what you want about me. Say I'm not big enough. Say I don't work out my legs. You could say whatever you want. But I am a jacked fucking 57-year-old. It is what it is. You don't know what my goals are. But, yeah, I don't put then nothing but pictures of steroids on my social media. That's what the scammers do. That's what the scammers do. And then they're going to take you to Telegram or somewhere like that and put you into groups or some other bullshit. I don't do any of that bullshit. None. I'm not like them. And if you can't figure that out and you don't even have to be my friend. You don't even have to follow me. You do have to look me up. Right? But my social media is all fucking public. All public. And I don't understand people who are using social media for business who don't have their social media public. Like, why wouldn't you? Well, because it's just for family, and I just use Facebook for family. Well, why aren't you using it for business too? And set up 2 accounts then. Set up one account where you share your stupid picnic pictures that nobody gives a shit about but your family. You do that. And then the other one, who are you? What do you do? What do you like to do? I share all that. That's why I share. I'm not sharing, me at a concert because I'm not bragging that I'm there. This is me. This is what I like. And I like all different kinds of music. I like sports. I'm a Steeler fan. I'm actually a Notre Dame fan. Alabama's my backup. Roll Tide. My daughter went to Alabama, but I put that all on there so people can get an idea. People want to do business with people they like and they trust. And I'm big on trust, man. I'm so big on trust and loyalty. I am. Because I am a loyal motherfucker. Loyal to those loyal to me. And that's how I roll. So you could question a lot of things, but man, do it the right way. And if you're really going to question something, man, I give two shits what other people are doing. So come at me with some evidence or something to even question me. You haven't gotten a single thing that hasn't been 100% what the fuck it was supposed to be from me in 2.5 years, and you wanna question because some other people, are having a hard time getting it. We've had a hard time. Sometimes the pharmaceutical company that we deal with in Luxembourg, sometimes they're not able to produce it because they can't get, or it's on back order, the raw ingredients to make the product. And then I'll just be out of it. So either my stuff is 100% of what it's supposed to fucking be, or I don't have it. It's one or the other. There's no in between there. And I'm disclosing more shit than I've ever disclosed publicly like this. But that's what I believe in. That's why I got into this. It's because I wanted to make sure I had decent stuff for myself and that I wasn't getting ripped off. Because I don't want people to get ripped off, man. That kind of shit pisses me off. So if you have an experience, drop it below. Hit the subscribe button. Also, other social media platforms: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and X. And Leo is making me very, very busy now with the content and getting it up. And I'm trying to spread it out amongst different platforms. Not always put the same thing on each platform. I try to fit it to what that one particular is too. So you can do that. I appreciate that. So yeah, I'll have probably more on this, and we'll talk to Dawn about this. And probably repeat some of this.
I actually have something I'll bring up to you after the show for Dawn. So hopefully there's a nice little surprise coming up for people.
All right. That would be great. That would be great because she definitely deserves it, deserves the attention, and she can help people as well. She's doing that now, and we're expanding the business and helping more and more women. I've always had some women clients, but, we want to increase that, and it's there because the wives see their husbands transform, and then they're like, what can you do for my wife? And send me your labs. Let's see what we got. What is she doing? And figure out a plan. And that's it. Asking questions, getting a plan, doing the work that you need to do, getting the lab work that needs to be done. That's so important. And other people just aren't doing that. And then the people that are, they can be on the high end as far as expense, and you're still not getting the things you need or in the doses that you need. What I hear some people spending a month on, $200 a month on testosterone. Are you kidding me? That's just a ripoff, man. It just is. It's not that expensive. It's not. And then to have him, low dose you or tell you you only need to inject every 2 weeks or some other dumb shit. Yeah, fuck that, man. Yeah, you can deal with that and learn that way and then end up with me, or you can just say, hey, figure it out right away. So something else I wanted to share today was Gavin Newsom made some comments about, I think it was yesterday. He invoked Jesus. He invoked the Bible. Gavin Newsom, you could probably search it like that. Gavin Newsom invokes the Bible to go after Republicans about the shutdown and SNAP benefits. And I hate this kind of shit. I really, really do. And then other people chime in, obviously, on social media platforms, because most of these people, they don't have original thoughts. They're just sharing what somebody else said. I prefer, original stuff. I don't know how long that is. I don't know where it would be. in there. But again, he tries to use Jesus on us, and that Jesus used like 3 or 4 different quotes from the Bible. And I have an answer for that shit. And I have a good answer for it. The good answer is this. Jesus did not tell us to steal our neighbor's money and distribute it to poor people. Nowhere in the Bible does Jesus tell us to do that. When Jesus tells us to take care of the least among us, he's not talking about the government. He's talking about us, what we need to do. And I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, because I got in a little back and forth with someone last night who was actually supposed to be a conservative. He just used some ridiculous numbers. I'm like, that's not true, dude. He said hundreds of millions are going to starve. Well, there's only 42 million on SNAP, not hundreds. We have 300. When I think of several, I'm thinking of at least 3 or more, right? So that would be 300 million or more.
I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit. Because only X amount of people would register, but they would have extra people in the family, right? That you would have to take into consideration.
We have all those numbers. We have both of those.
So it's 42 million, including all like every single family member and everything.
That's the number of people, households.
So is it 42 million households or 42 million people?
No. It's going to be like 20 million households and 40 million people.
Okay.
That's how it is. Because they break it down state by state and even county by county.
Gotcha.
Okay. So yeah, it's all that. But I'm just saying, if you only have 350 million people in the country, you don't have 300 million that are going to starve.
Yeah.
Because you don't have 300 million that are getting SNAP benefits or that. Yeah. And you have food banks, right? And some of the food banks you would go to, from what I've understood, you used to be able to get maybe 14 items in a box. And now, because more people want it, now you're going to get 11 or 12 items because they're trying to spread it out to different people. And it's not just food they need. They also need diapers. They also need hygiene products, so that could be toilet paper, even toothbrushes or whatever. And I was like, I kind of snapped back at this dude because he kind of implied that I didn't care about people. And so I set him straight real quick. You don't know me, motherfucker. That I have helped feed several thousand people. Really several thousand people, not a made-up number. And I contributed financially to doing that. And sometimes I might cover as much as half or more of the bill to do that. And then I also donated my time as well. So I didn't just donate my time. If that's what you have to give your time. If you can give money, give money. If you can do both, do both. It's not for me to tell you what to do, but it's what I did. And then whenever you share that, then people think, if you have to tell people, like, then you're bragging, you do that, you're trying to get credit. Man, do you people realize what the fuck you say? Because you yell that wealthy people, billionaires, aren't doing the right thing with their money. And when they do the things that you would like them to do, and if they tell you about it, well, then that's bad. But if they don't tell you and they do it and you accuse them of not doing it, that's bad. It's just stupid. So I'm going to share it. I always have shared what I did. And I started a number of years ago with my big sister, Joni. And when I was in the Toledo area, that she had a relationship with a church on the south side of Toledo. And once a month, we would do hot meals at the church. Open to anybody. We didn't ask you for proof of anything. If you were hungry, come and eat. That's what we did. And we would also do Thanksgiving. We would do Halloween and give things out to the kids. I even grilled one time. And we did like a picnic of hamburgers and hot dogs, and I worked the grill, and I supplied all the meat for the grill, right? Did that. Easter, we would do Easter, and we would do other months. If we could get the money together, we would do this. And we'd get a few hundred people each time. And, you know, it was a good thing. I played Santa Claus. We'd give away gifts. We'd have that. But we'd also have a Christmas dinner, too, at some point. So, you know, every Thanksgiving, we would do this big Thanksgiving meal. As good as you could get anywhere, man. Like, good shit. And good desserts, the whole thing. Well, what I decided to do is I did some research last night, and there's a number of food banks in the area. And I found the one I'm going to go to is Father McGivney. That's a food bank. And I'm going to call before I go today because I want to make sure the items I get aren't, you know, that if they have some that they're particularly low on and would like to have, that I'll concentrate on those first. That's what I'm going to do. Jesus told us to take care of those less fortunate. He told us to feed them. He told us to help. He did not tell us to vote for the government to just take money from people to do it. That's not a thing. Now, think what you want. Is it good that the government does it? Separate debate. Different debate. But honestly, from the original formation of this country and our Constitution, that is not what we are supposed to do. That is not the government's role. It's the church's role. It's our role, even if you don't fucking believe in God. It's our role as fucking humans to do that. You do it voluntarily. When the government does it, you're not volunteering. That's my objection. I object to the government doing it. And so to try to use Jesus and the Bible, it pisses me off when people who are non-Christians, and I don't know what Gavin Newsom is. I know he was raised Catholic. I know he went to a Jesuit high school. Even though, did you see the new shit that Gavin Newsom tried to pretend like he was in the, like he lived in the hood and he hustled and he ate mac and cheese and shit? Dude, it's so fake and funny. And you should see the pictures of him when he was a youth. He looks like he does now. He would dress up. He was a little preppy boy. Okay? His family was not broke. He didn't live in the hood. He didn't hustle. Okay? He didn't. If he did hustle, then he was the rich kid in high school that was dealing weed. Maybe that. Gotcha. Okay? Yeah. But he wasn't a hood hustler. He wasn't a hood dealer, you know, distributing weed or anything else. Yeah. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Don't be something you're not, man. I just, oh, God, I hate that. That's so fake and so phony. But really what I don't like, too, is I don't like when people who are not Christians and want to use the Bible against those of us that are. My relationship with God is not your motherfucking business. I could share it with you. God wants me to share my journey. But what your opinion is of that I'm a Christian and I swear, or I'm a Christian and, you know, I have this cold, unempathetic heart, you know. Look, people are a product of their choices. What they are not is they are not a product of their circumstances. And if you think you're in the situation you are because of your circumstances, you are fucked up, and you're going to stay fucked up until you own that shit. And to own that shit, you got to start making better choices and know it's on you. Stop expecting the local government, the state government, the federal government, or anyone else to fucking save you. Stop expecting to be able to work 40 hours a week and be able to feed your family. And if you're really, this debate on minimum wage is getting involved in this. Nobody, and I don't know anybody who's paying federal minimum wage. And most states have a minimum wage that's much higher than the federal minimum wage. And right now, it is hard to find. Do you know how hard it would be to find a decent person and pay minimum wage? It's hard. Hard. And if you are good, you're going to display that in the first 6 months, and that employer's not going to want to get rid of you, and he's going to give you a raise. And if you show up and you do a good job for a year and you're not getting a raise, go work for someone else. And that's what you tell that next employer. I've proven I can show up. I've proven I can learn on the job. I've proven that I have value, and I'm not valued by this employer. That's why I'm looking for a new job. I'm not asking for the highest pay because I still have a lot to learn, but I'm worth more than minimum wage. And if you're somebody who's looking for a job and you're sitting in front of me and you talk like that, I love that shit, man. I love that. That's how it works. Get a fucking skill. You don't have to have a college degree, but get a fucking skill. Instead of, going back to college and being broke for 4 years, go back and learn how to do something like, I don't know, radiology or something that's like a 9-month thing or something. I'm just making shit up. I don't know.
I think it's only like 3-4 years, so I don't think you're far from.
Well, I think there's other things in the medical field that you can do short. Like,
within the
there's
year.
different technicians or different levels, but some things you can do 9 months or a year and be qualified to go do that.
Yeah.
And they never seem to have enough people when it comes to medical shit,
yeah,
right?
They're
always looking for people, right? Get a fucking skill. Nobody fucking owes you. Again, if you need help, I'm all for helping people that need help. But you also need to help yourself. And that's been my philosophy my whole life. And I was taught that by the teacher that after I quit high school, and a teacher came to me that summer and said, Troy, I want you to be in my class. I'm going to help you graduate on time. But here's the deal. I help people who help themselves. You have to have a job. And I had a job, but then, after I started the class, I actually lost the job because of the union. I've shared that story before. But then I went out looking for a job, and he went out looking for me a job. And he got me a job for a few months. And then that guy, business owner, only had so much money. The other guy had a family. He kept that guy. I totally understood. And then I went looking for a job again. And I found the next job. That's when I started in retail. But he was looking for me too. He helped people who help themselves. You willing to help yourself? Are you willing to come back? You willing to put in the work, finish what you need to do? If you do that, I'll help you too. And he did. And I've treated everybody else in my life that way from that moment on in business. Whether I was a manager or owned the business or whatever. If you help yourself, I will help you. When I would have people that were struggling with addiction and, they wanted money, I'm not giving you money. But you know what? I need some things done around here that I don't want to do. I'll pay you this much to come do that shit. You can earn it. I'll help you earn it. But I'm not just going to give it to you. That doesn't mean I don't ever hand out just money with no expectations. I do. But that's rare for me. It just is. It's rare. Not that I won't. And I'm not trying to say I'm going to do this. I'm going to buy $1,000 worth of shit from Costco today. We're going to go to Costco today and buy $1,000 worth of goods and take it to this food bank. That's what I'm going to do. How many other people are just going to bitch on fucking social media?
90% of people.
Yeah, probably. It's probably a lot.
A lot more than that.
Yeah. Because I do care. Don't tell me I don't care. I do care. But if I feed you the fish, I also want to teach you to fish. Do both. But I'm not the person who says, I'm not gonna feed you. We're just gonna have to catch fish, and I'm not gonna. No, I'm gonna feed you. You're with me. We'll feed you. You're not gonna go hungry. And then this whole thing about people going hungry or starving is bullshit in this country. It doesn't happen. You might miss a meal. That's different. Or you might only get one meal a day. Still different. You're not starving. But they have a new word they use now to scare people. It's called food insecurity or food anxiety. Yeah, that's a real thing.
Anxiety to buy food?
No, because you're worried about where your next meal might come from.
I mean, I'd call that regular anxiety, but
they call it food anxiety, dude. They're worried about where they're gonna eat, or they're not even starving yet.
Yeah,
they still have food, but man, the government's not gonna fill up my card on November 1st, and I know there's fraud because I participated in the fraud.
Allegedly.
I wasn't the one. I helped somebody else do it. Like I said, I've explained it. Man, there was a time when I was, coming back and I wanted to eat well and I was making at least a little bit of money. Not like now, but I wouldn't say if somebody made it easy for me. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it today. I don't need to do it, but I tried to stretch shit out, And what I would do is, it was known I would give you 60 cents on the dollar for your whatever balance you had on your card or whatever you wanted to sell me, or people would use it, say, I have this much left. I have $200 left. I want the 120 bucks
or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. We worked it out. And I would use the card and then take it back to them. That's not really worth my time now, but just for fun, because people always say, oh, these people that show up and use these EBD cards and they're driving Cadillacs. Guess what I drove? Cadillac. That was me, motherfucker. And I bought that card from someone else. And I went and bought me the best fucking filet mignon in that place. Yeah. Because look, if I can get $200 worth of steak for 120 bucks, right?
80 bucks right there.
Man, that's the best coupon I've ever seen in my life, man. But the people who sold it to me, they cared more about the money than they did the card being able to get them food.
Yeah.
And maybe that was for drugs. Maybe that was to pay a phone bill or rent. I don't know. Not my business, honestly.
You were there for the ETB card. The rest can...
Right? It's true.
Not my issue, not my problem.
I don't know how many people do that. But I know there's a few.
100%.
If you're actually ever in the hood, Gavin, that motherfucker is hustling. That is hustling.
I did look up.
Buying people's cards is hustling.
Oh, man. I mean, the effort you have to go around, not only figuring out the people and then how much they have and then coming into
you can't just do that with everyone.
Yeah, no. Definitely not. No, but I did look up what Gavin said, and he did say he posted up with the macaroni and cheese or whatever it was.
Yeah, he did.
That made me chuckle.
Mac and cheese. Motherfucker. That's just dumb. And I think he was with some black podcasters.
It was an interview, yeah.
Yeah. Just total bullshit, dude. I don't know. I'm me when I'm around. Whether it doesn't matter who I'm around, I'm me. I'm not changing just because the people in the room are different skin color. I just think that's idiotic.
All the smoke, Newsom.
Go ahead, read it.
Said, my mom was 19, pregnant and divorced a few years later with 2 kids, came from no money and just hustled. Worked hard, grinding every single day, 2.5 jobs, no bullshit. But
he's full of shit, dude.
Sitting there with Wonder Bread and macaroni and cheese.
Wonder Bread. Get the fuck out of here with your Wonder Bread, dude. Come on, man.
That makes me laugh.
It makes everybody laugh. I mean, if that isn't the most phony ass shit you've seen in a minute, that's some phony ass shit. Come on. Hustling every day. Dude, you ain't no dick about hustling, man. Look, if you go to a Jesuit school, first of all, it's not a public school, it's a private school. And you might get some money. There's some tuition help. We didn't take any tuition help when my daughter went to private school. We paid the full boat. But there was some available. Mm-hmm. And I think when my daughter was in high school, when she went to an all-girls Catholic school, if parents could volunteer time for certain events,
Okay.
volunteer their time to get credit towards the tuition.
Gotcha. Okay.
We never, I was like, I don't want to do that. Just tell me what it costs for me not to do that. Do you need me to write another $500, another $1,000 on top of this? Because I don't want to do that. Okay. What does it cost me? That's what, but you could, so there's people there were people that had to really work hard to put their kids through private school. You're more blue collar class. There are people that would do that and did that, and they have things for them. I even know at the country day school, like 35% got some kind of tuition assistance or grants.
Oh, 35% of the students.
Of the students.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we weren't one of those. We just paid what the bill was, and that's it. But yeah, you ain't broke, man. You ain't broke. Is that broke?
There's a difference.
There's a difference.
There's levels
There's a
to the
difference.
brokenness.
Yeah. I mean, we were low end middle class growing up. I tell you right where we were at. And I said, maybe we could have qualified for benefits, maybe not. I know most of the time. Well, one time we did qualify for a discount on lunch based on whatever my parents were. And I did this. So instead of paying $1, you only paid 50 cents or whatever.
Okay.
But I think we could have done that more. But I was almost embarrassed to do that. So we just didn't do shit like that. We just figured it out. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. But somebody claiming like, does he feel like he needs the hood vote?
He probably does. Or he probably thinks he does for sure.
And so you're going to go pander? They don't respect you when they pander. Trump doesn't pander to anybody or any group like that. He is himself no matter what group he is with. He just doesn't do that. I mean, the dude wore French cuffs when he had his McDonald's apron on, okay? And the red tie, crisp white shirt. And it's just crazy. Because he's got money, he's loaded. He's like, I'm a billionaire. But I'm a billionaire serving you a burger, man. But he didn't try to pretend that he was something he wasn't. Like the politicians do when they put on the hunting gear and pretend they're hunters and guns. And motherfucker ain't touched a gun and
ever.
Forever. And you can tell. And they get ripped
just
online
like the
for
way they're
stuff.
holding it or like the way they're standing with
just
it.
Dumb, man. Just be you. But one message I have for people today as I wrap things up here is if you can help out, I don't think the Bible tells me to give, all my tithing to the church. I think we are supposed to give money to the church. You're supposed to help out the pastor there and the things that they do. But you know what? You can also use that money for God's work. And you know what that is. And you can give other ways. So, maybe you do that. Maybe this week you don't drop it in the collection plate, or you do and you just do this added, or you add more to it, or whatever. God will know your heart. But if you have the ability, and if you have the ability, and I do, I've been blessed. Even through all the struggles, I am blessed. And I know that I don't do it for the reward from God, but I know that when I do those right things, I know that God takes care of me. I mean, it's just how my life has gone. It just happens. So I'm very confident of that. So I think it's up to us. It's not up to the government. The government has to work its shit out. They will. Sooner or later, somebody's going to cave. And it might be the Republicans who cave, because they usually are. Honestly, they usually are the ones. And actually, I hope they don't this time. Because this is not cool to be able to use the American people as hostages like this. You lost the election, okay? Your ideas were not what won the election. Republican and conservative ideas won the election. And we have a right to implement those. You can negotiate. You can sit at the table. You can make your case for the next election, which is next year. You can do that. I mean, there's a handful of elections coming up, but very few. It's an off year. And then we have midterms next year.
Off year. We got the World Cup next year.
Yeah. That'll be good. And Trump, so I don't know if you saw this, but Trump is good friends with the head of FIFA.
I honestly would not be surprised.
He is. Like, really good friends. And so he's threatened some of these cities that if you don't clamp down on crime or you don't do certain things, yeah, you're supposed to host some games, but we'll move it. We'll move the games somewhere else. And they were like, he can't do that. That's up to FIFA, what they do. And FIFA said, yeah, we're going to do whatever Trump says. That's basically what just happened this past week. That was funny about that. All right. Dot, hey, appreciate you too. We got a few people there clicking on it and stuff. But yeah, just do you, man. Do you. Help out if you can. I can, so I'm going to, and I'm going to include my staff in helping out. And we're blessed. And so that's the best way I thought that I could do that, was to donate to a food bank. And I think other people could do the same. It's up to us individually. It's not up to the government. And don't let those motherfuckers shame you. Tell them to fuck off. Jesus did not tell us to steal your neighbor's money and give it to someone else. It's not supposed to be a thing. Okay? All right, again, hit that like, hit that subscribe, share, some of the clips because they're so fucking good coming out right now. It's much appreciated. Hit me up if you want to talk on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and X. Check out all the different content. Appreciate you all. Much love. We'll be back on Friday. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy.
Whoa. Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fit.